From the beginning, the images we have created have stood like mile markers on the road of human progress. What once was is now because artists made it so. They captured a moment and made it eternal. Where did they get such power? Well, it was given to them, passed down through the ages, master to student, each building upon the other. John Stobart, one of the most accomplished artists of our time, says, "I don't think the greatest works have yet been done." And it's true, but only if the secrets are given to yet another generation. The first secret is this: it is not in the hand, it is in the eye. Follow us and we'll show you that once you learn to look at the world differently, it becomes a different world, one in which nature becomes the greatest teacher of all. In the English town of Beer, John Stobart paints alongside British artist Trevor Chamberlain. Using dramatically different techniques, they tackle the same subject, interpreting nature with surprisingly different results.
We're extremely fortunate in this show to have participating my good friend and colleague Trevor Chamberlain, who is a very fine outdoor painter from England, has built a tremendous reputation there and is very highly collected, both in England and in America. He paints about 100 pictures a year, and he was born in Hartford in England, started painting seriously at the age of 12. He's a member of the Royal Institute of Oil Painters and the Royal Society of Marine Artists, specializing in painting town, marine, and landscape, and working on the spot in all weathers. It's through people like this that the chain will be established from the old masters all the way to the present day, because he will be able to give certain expertise and show you the way to do things. Now, you see, the thing is that Trevor, being a professional, just doesn't have the time to spend to go to a school of art and teach people. That is a full-time job. And aren't we lucky, therefore, to have this gentleman here today and showing us his expertise in oil painting. Trevor, it's wonderful to be in England here on this beautiful south coast of Devon, and to see this, I mean, look at the character of this, it's wonderful.
It's a marvellous spot. I've been here quite a number of times painting, and it's one of my quite favourite spots, really. It's beer, yes.
Not the drink.
Not the drink. And it dates back really from Roman times and before.
Does it? Yeah.
They used to quarry the stone here, quite famous stone, and in fact it's used in Exeter Cathedral, building Exeter Cathedral. Yes, yes, yeah. But it's been a great place for fishermen, smugglers.
It is still actually a working fishing village, isn't it?
Oh yeah, very much so. Probably not quite as intense as it was, but yeah, it certainly is. Smugglers too in times gone by were here. Spanish fishermen and seamen used to get shipwrecked occasionally, and in those cases, very often they would marry the local girls. Another thing about Beer is that at one stage it was a haven for Flemish refugees who came over, and sort of reinforced the lace making which was going on here at the time. In 1839, lace was used in the embellishments on Queen Victoria's wedding gown, which is rather nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. I'm really excited about painting with you, Trevor, today, because what we're really trying to show is that all our styles are different, you know. We want to show a variety to our audience.
Yes, they are, yeah. I like to work towards an immediate effect. I like to capture the moment, the atmosphere and the mood of the painting. Yeah. You know, John, when I come to a new place painting, I have to go and walk around and seek out and get to know the place soak up the atmosphere and get inspired.
You're right, Trevor. What painting is really all about is a culmination of all the senses. You've got to get the smell and the view of everything, the taste of it. All the senses are working, aren't they, all at once?
Yeah, you have to get to the essence of the subject, the right mood, the right feeling. That's the important thing. Now look at that. How about that?
Oh, wonderful. Trevor, why don't you come over and sit with me a minute while I set up? You work so quickly,
Yeah.
you'll be finished in no time. Anyway.
Okay, John. Yeah, yeah, I will. I'd love to.
Yeah.
See how
Well-
you go about it, because...
Well, maybe I'll learn something from you, too.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't think so, but you never know.
Now, of course, I need my turps and oil. Yeah. I've got a new system, though, here, with the canvas.
Yeah,
I put them on a board
yes.
so that I can travel with
That's good.
many
Good.
canvases.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's quite a good idea.
very good.
Maybe
Very
I'll
good.
patent it.
I think that's a good idea, too. I must think about using that. And you've got a slightly tinted ground.
I like to tint it just a little bit.
Yes,
Because I find it
yes.
ties the painting together
Yes.
later.
Yes.
And
I generally work on a white ground, but quickly try and cover it, you know?
yeah, I use about 3/4 turps to
Yeah.
1/4 oil.
Yes.
What do you use?
Well, as a medium, I use pure turps, but I do mix with the white a gel medium.
Yeah.
I also have a spot of gel which hastens drying for the first
So you
coat.
put
as it
gel
were.
in the white, and that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
quickens the drying. The fact that you say that about turps it reminds me of a funny story. I went to the Art Students League in New York, and the fellow there called Oppenheim was a portrait painter, and he only used oil. And when he saw me using turps, he came over and he said, "What have you got in there?" I said, "Turpentine." He said, "Well, do you know what this is? This is oil painting." I thought that was... So everybody has their own, you know, this is one of the options.
I've got my pochard box with me today.
Oh, wonderful.
This is quite
Yeah,
a small
this
format.
is unique.
Well,
really unique.
in the way that I paint, I like to tackle the whole thing in one sitting if I can, because of the changing light and mood. I much prefer to work out of doors on a small format,
Yeah.
because I can handle it in the
But
time.
you can even use this in the car, can't you? I mean, if it's pouring rain, you can sit like that in the car with that on you.
That's right, yes.
I always like to start by seeing where everything fits on and seeing where my format is going to be, where the top of the cliff here is going to be, and so forth. And I like to get that established really fast, and then move it around. If anything, I can just take it off with a rag and so on.
Yes, yes.
But I like to get it all working
Yeah.
fairly quickly.
Well, let me just describe what this box consists of. It's a very compact set of tools. It has all my paints I need. It has a selection of brushes. It's got a palette knife. It's got a pencil. It's got a dipper. And it's got a little container of turps. And it has everything there that I need. It even has a little thumb hole underneath if I want to stand up and hide in a corner. I think, John, I'm going to get on with something myself, because the wind's getting up a bit and
It is.
it's getting warmer,
Yeah.
and I feel perhaps I ought to get cracking.
There you go.
I've got a board here, which I'm going to use.
Yes.
It's in fact a masonite, which I prepared with 2 or 3 coats of acrylic primer. I've also mixed a little gesso in with one of the coats to give it a bit of tooth.
I'm fascinated to see you put your palette together there, Trevor, because it's so different from mine. I've always used just 5 colors, which are basically the primary colors, but you've got, that's very good. You don't have a bright red there, do you? Have you got an alizarin crimson in there, or what?
I've got some alizarin crimson, yes. I'll run through them. Titanium white, lemon yellow, Indian yellow, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, cadmium orange, sap green, viridian, cobalt, ultramarine.
Very good. It's very interesting to see the way you start, Trevor, by penciling in a little bit. I've always drawn with the paint, but that's another thing in the difference between how people work. It's just fascinating.
I'm using a pencil very lightly to block in or to mark in the approximate positions of things, just to get the right balance, really, and to get the masses and the approximate drawing in position.
I find this cliff fascinating, and I'm so fascinated by it, in fact, that I'm making more of a study of the cliff at the moment, because I feel that the light will change on it, and I want to describe it in a certain way and get this really right in a very spontaneous sort of way.
I've just started blocking in here now. One of the things I want to get in fairly early on is an approximation of the sky, because the sky dictates the whole tone of the picture. To work out the subtleties in the sky, one needs to turn one's head to one side, and you see the difference between the horizon colour and tone and the canopy overhead. It also helps to perpetuate the image as a crazy artist. Right, well, I'm just blocking in very quickly with a Terpsy wash, as it were. Well, that's the sky, just roughly indicated.
One thing that's happening, Trevor, I notice out there, is the clouds are starting to look terrific. They're sort of emerging.
What I'm trying to do is to get the board covered with paint and kill all that white so that I can get the true relationships of the various areas. It doesn't really matter about going over the edges of things a bit. It's just an impression of it at the moment.
As I look over to you, Trevor, I see you're sketching everything in, and of course on the small scale, that reminds me of Constable, who was, of course, the great expert at that. you must have been a bit influenced by him.
Well, I must say that I admire Constable's sketches, his on-the-spot sketches, greatly. They're absolutely marvellous.
Yeah.
They mean far more to me than his finished works.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the first thing I did when I got to London, just the other day, I went right to the V&A and looked at those wonderful Constable sketches that inspired me really right in the beginning. And the thing about those was that I think that you can tell how he's done it. It looks possible, doesn't it?
Yes.
Whereas
Yes.
so many paintings that you look at look impossible, but those are a case apart. You can look at those and you think, gosh, I think I could do that. Now here's one of John Constable's studio paintings, about 24 by 36. And this is a completed painting, but let's look at the sketch for that, which is right here. Now what I love about this little painting that was the initial sketch for the big one is that it has all this spontaneity and vigor of an outdoor painting and shows Constable's personality 100%. I think here, this painting of country road trees and figures, here is the genre of the period. For me, this is the origin of the outdoor, spontaneous painting, an outdoor sketch that would be done all in one shot. And this shows to me the tremendous jump forward that painting took at this point with this particular artist.
Sir Alfred Munnings, who's a well-known horse painter, he's dead now, but he went out one day painting on the spot, somewhere into Exmoor, I think it was, and he realised that he'd left his brushes at home. And rather than go back defeated, he took some grasses and bits and pieces of briar and fashioned brushes on the spot and painted with those. And I've seen the result, and it is really fantastic.
Trevor, do you remember selling your first painting?
Yes, I do, very clearly. I sold it for half a guinea.
You sold your first painting for $1. How old were you then?
Well, I was about 12 or 13. So that was a week's pocket money for me. And I sold it to my music teacher, who tried in vain to teach me to play the piano.
But what a tremendous thrill that must have been, Trevor, then for you. Because then you suddenly are a professional artist. You've got an audience, and you're on the rung, aren't you? The bottom rung.
Yes, quite.
I think what I like to tell the young artist is to just go out and paint every day. Just get on with it. And because it's only the constancy of doing it that'll make it come. And when they get hold of it, and when it does finally arrive, it's very thrilling, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Yes, you can learn about it in class and under tuition and learn all the theories, but there is no substitute for practice and actually doing it. I'm mixing up some warm colour for the cliff face, that light on the cliff face. And I'm going to use a bit of knife work because it's quite a crisp profile, and I just feel that it needs something like that. Using a little finger here and there.
How many paintings do you do a year, Trevor?
Well, I suppose on average it's about 100.
100?
100. Now, that is quite a lot, isn't it?
Mind
really?
you sometimes do 1 and even 2, though, in a day, don't you?
Yes,
If you have the right conditions.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you see, I work quite differently from you. I like to capture the moment, just a fleeting instant of
That's right.
time and
Yeah.
light.
Actually, I do 6 or 7 major studio paintings in the winter.
Yeah.
And then I use the summer to go out and...
Yes.
And so I suppose I do about 15 small ones and
Yes.
of this type.
Yes. Yes.
And then probably 7 major ones in the winter. Yeah.
But you going out in the summer, you recharge all your batteries, you keep your senses alive by observing.
Absolutely. One of the points I often make to young artists is that being a painter isn't about following a pattern or doing it the way other people do it. It's about following your own way.
Well, John, yes, I would agree, and I think that we are probably very good examples of that.
Yes, we really are different in many ways.
Yes, exactly. We're different by in the medium we use, the boards we paint on, the types of brushes we use.
Yes, the choice of color and when and where we choose to paint.
I guess that everything we do is different, really.
Yes, but in the end, we're really the same because we're following our own star.
Yeah, but I guess that's just what it's all about. Every artist should find his own way and work in the way that suits him best.
Isn't it wonderful that art is big enough that, and we've proved it the way we work, it's big enough for anyone to really create their own life and design their own way of living.
Yeah, John, it would have been quite different if you'd chosen to be a carpenter or a bricklayer or something of that sort, some sort of tradesman.
Yes, if you'd chosen any of the sort of trades or any other kind of work, really, you've got to get up at a certain time, you've got to do what you're told to do, and you've got to be responsible to that set of rules that somebody else is imposing on you. But as an artist, you're free to do what you want when you want to do it.
That's right.
Trevor, have you always earned your living as an artist?
No, not entirely. I've been professional for, well, since 1964.
Yeah.
Before that, I worked for some years in an architect's office, so I had some connection with art.
I think that would have been a good experience, though, too, in a way. We get experiences from everything, and
Well, certainly.
Being in an architect's office
Yes.
isn't really that far removed, is it?
Not really. And it gave me a good business sense too. I can conduct my affairs as well, having had some experience.
Which is an extremely important point.
It is.
Well, that's it for me. Let's see what we got here. Ah, there we are.
Well, I think we've each in our own way caught the feel and the spirit of the place.
I love the way you just suggested those figures, because when you leave the high detail out, it gives the viewer something to participate in. And it gives them some sense of imagination. It's almost, there's an analogy with the novel, in that you don't see pictures in novels. It would spoil the reader's participation and their imagination.
Yes.
And this is the same.
Yes, you're right, John. The character in a novel can never be as vivid as the one created in the reader's imagination.
Absolutely. As in this little figure here, you've left enough to the viewer's imagination so that they can make it whoever they want it to be.
Yes, even a self-portrait.
That's right. Well, Trevor, this outdoor painting is a heck of a tough life, isn't it? We had a good day.
Very good.